Hey guys, this is Tom from Numbers Game Lifestyle. And today we're going to be talking about persistence. When you're dealing with women, sometimes you have to be persistent. And a lot of the times guys will get wrong on when to be persistent and when you should not be persistent. Okay, there's a time and a place for persistence. And I'm going to describe where I find that persistence really pays off and where it just does not. Okay. Like if you talk to a lot of guys that are new to pickup, they'll be like, okay, like I need to be persistent. If a woman says she's not interested, it doesn't really mean she's not interested. I can convince her. And, if I bother her enough, then I'll convert her and change her mind. The wrong way of thinking about it. Completely the wrong way of thinking about it. For instance, here's when you don't persist with women, okay? And that is very early on when you're first, like the first opener, she's not receptive. You ask her another question. She almost looks annoyed and almost like, why are you talking to me? This is not a test, how the pickup community calls it, the crap test. She's just not interested or she's not available. You just persisting and being like, not taking no for an answer and being like, oh, I'm going to convince her to give me her number. I'm going to convince her to, date me, to want to go out with me. Complete waste of time. And being persistent, not taking no for an answer when a woman is clearly like trying to get away from you or not interested in talking to you. You can see it in her eyes. Like, why are you talking to me? Like, stop talking to me. And yeah, just not enjoying the conversation. This is her signal to you to buzz off, that she's not interested. Don't waste your time. Do you know how awkward that is to talk to someone that doesn't want to talk to you? It's kind of like, I don't know, you're just lowering your status by talking to someone. It's like, here I am extending an olive branch to you, and you're like, not interested. Why would you waste your time talking to that person again? Being like, oh no, I'm going to convince this chick that she's missing out on me. No, it should just be like, she's not interested. It's a good thing I'm not wasting any more time talking to her, where I can find another girl that really wants to talk to me, that's excited to talk to me. Those are the girls that I want to talk to, right? Why waste my time on a woman that is clearly not interested, not in the mood, not available, or not attracted to me? So you just taking it upon yourself to be like, oh no, I gotta be persistent. I'm gonna get her number. Complete waste of time. Even if you get her number, it's gonna go nowhere. If you want to get numbers that are solid, she has to be excited about talking to you. She has to want to give you her number. She has to be like, yes, take my number so we can go out. That's the kind of energy you want. So it makes no sense in persisting with these women that are clearly not interested very early on, like right after you open her, right after you ask her a question and she's just like not having it. Does you no good persisting. In fact, it actually gives everybody cold approach a completely bad name, because now she's expecting every guy that comes up to her and asks her out, starts a conversation, she's going to be like, oh, damn, another one of these guys, I'm going to have to constantly tell him no, and he's going to be harassing me. These are the guys that don't take no for an answer. These are the guys that end up getting arrested for public harassment. You hear all these stories about guys in the pickup community, cold approach community. Oh, he got arrested. Oh, cold approach is illegal now. No, it's just because guys are straight up harassing women by not taking no for an answer, not reading the social cues that she's just not available or not interested. So don't ruin it. These guys completely ruin cold approach for everyone else. Any woman that is collateral damage from this guy that's not taking no for an answer, now she's got a bad experience with cold approach. Now she's like, damn, I hate these guys. They don't take no for an answer. And it just completely ruins the whole like cold approach community of guys that, actually good at this, actually know what they're doing, and can take no as an answer and just move on to the next. It does you no good persisting with these women. It just spoils the whole dating pool. Now, what about, when is it a good time to persist with women? When can you persist with women and get good results because of it? And it's when, let's say you're inviting a girl home. It's clearly you're both enjoying each other's company, and you invite her home, and maybe she says like, no, like she comes up with some excuse she can't come over to your place or whatever. And you're just like, yeah, okay. And you continue the date, you continue to have fun, and you persist again. You ask her out back home to your place a little while later after she's, a little more comfortable. She's a little more comfortable with you touching her. Yes, the odds are that she's more likely to say yes now that you've made her more comfortable. So yes, it makes sense to persist in these situations. Now, of course, the most crucial point of whole persistence, where persistence really does pay off, is when she's back at your house, on your bed, things are heating up between you two, and, you go to make a move, and maybe she politely resists. He says like, no, like, she comes up with like some excuse or whatever, but she's clearly enjoying your company. She's clearly enjoying being around you, you touching her. It makes sense to persist and, get her aroused. So when things are heating up in the bedroom, persist. It doesn't mean like she says no and you just like plow and do something stupid like that. No, you sit back, you wait, you make her like more relaxed, that you're not one of these guys that as soon as she says no, he starts freaking out, or he tries to like get physical with her, force her. Some guys are like that, and that's what really scares women off. So if you can be one of the few guys that, a woman says like, no, like not right now, or she like puts up a little resistance, you just take your hands off and you're super chill. You don't care whether you get laid or not. You're going to be sitting back and having a good time regardless. And then you try again. Try something else and see how she reacts. And you will never have a bad reaction with women by doing this. You're playing the game. She's just not quite ready yet. She has to be a little bit more aroused in order for her to getting intimate with you. So yes, this is when persistence really pays off. Sometimes, it takes a little coax her to be ready. All right. That's when it makes sense to persist, when you're at the finish line and she just needs a little extra time to cook and before she's ready. And then you persist again. This is how persistence is rewarded. They reward you for that persistence. And it's not like you freak out as soon as you encounter some resistance and get all butthurt and emotional. You just sit back and relax and you try again. This is how you persist without looking needy, without looking desperate, without looking awkward. That is when persistence is rewarded. And don't be one of these guys that persists with women that are clearly not interested. There's no coaxing her. There's no turning that around. If she's just like not interested in talking to you, there are women that are. There's plenty of women out there that are interested in talking to you. Okay, so find those women. Leave the ones that are unavailable, not interested, busy, have their mind completely someplace else. Leave them to themselves, right? Find the women that are, excited about you starting a conversation with them. You'll be a lot more happy. You don't have to like convince these girls. It should never be about like convincing them. Who wants to be around with people you have to convince? You want to make friends with people that you have to convince them to be friends with you? No. You want to meet people that are like, yeah, like I dig this guy. He gets me, right? You're both on the same page, like pretty much right off the bat. And that's what you want to look for. None of this convincing, none of this like, oh, I got to persist. No, I'm not taking no for an answer. All this garbage. It spoils the fun for everybody else. Anyways, guys, if you need help doing this, coaching to speed run your success with dating and getting your sex life handled, I help guys do that. It defeats a lot of the time and energy investment that you have to put into getting your sex life handled, so it's done and dusted and you can move on to bigger and better things. You know, your whole life completely changes as soon as you know you can get laid with attractive women whenever you want. You know exactly what to do. You can just repeat the process over and over again, and it completely relaxes your entire life. Like, you're no longer living in scarcity, right? You're living in abundance because you know exactly how to repeat the process, and you know whatever happens, you can meet women. Doesn't matter where you go, wherever it is, you can make stuff happen. So you'll never be, lonely. You'll never be alone looking for women, not knowing what to do and how to get them. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching.